Hey, this is John 5, and you are checking out The Jeremy White Show.
An all-new episode of The Jeremy White Show.
Available wherever you stream.
Welcome back to The Jeremy White Show. Make sure you like and subscribe to get more cool stuff like this. Fresh off a road trip over to our nation's capital, got the Ottawa Blues Fest with Motley Crue headlining. I caught up with the one and only John 5 to talk all about his solo tour that's going to be kicking off later this year. And I mean solo tour, like extensive solo tour. Even he kind of joked about it in the interview. He's like, damn, he's like, yeah, it is quite a pretty big solo tour. Going to be doing cities across the U.S., but up here in Canada, Montreal, Toronto, East Coast, West Coast, you name it, you're going to get a chance to see John 5 live this year, and it's going to be phenomenal. He always puts on a great show with all the screens and the blow-ups and the horrorness. It's always awesome. So get your tickets from your local promoters, Ticketmaster.com, wherever you get your tickets, and go and catch John on the road. It's going to be great. But in this interview, we talked about the solo tour, talked about Van Halen. He told a really cool story about how he got to play Eddie Van Halen's rig at rehearsals before the Dave reunion. He also talked about how there's a Van Halen influence in one very specific song that I asked him about from his last solo tour, and he's like, yes, that was a Van Halen thing. So really cool to see him excited about that. Of course, I would be a terrible journalist if I didn't ask him about being in Motley Crue. We talked about the backing track controversy, which if you're a fan of the show, you know I'm all about. You know I'm supportive of this stuff. We talk about this with everybody that comes on the show. He was very coy about it and very direct, and quite frankly, who gives a... The show is amazing. The live show is awesome. We talk about recreating Mick's guitar sound live, what he's playing live, talk about his guitar rig. We even talk about how Kiss back in 1976 with Destroyer, you knew Peter Criss wasn't singing with a real orchestra hidden under the stage. And John was like, actually, that's a really good little fact, because John actually revealed in the interview he owns the tape that Peter Criss used to sing to on the Destroyer tour, which was a revelation to me. I thought that was hilarious. So we talk all about that. We talk about the solo tour, so much awesomeness, talk about Motley Crue, everything you'd want in a John 5 interview. Make sure you like, subscribe, and go and catch John on the road later this year. And of course, there's still some Motley Crue dates to check out too. So let's get right over to John 5.
Thank you for having me.
Here we are in beautiful Ottawa.
Yes.
Is it the first time you've been to Ottawa in quite some time, I'm guessing?
I think, yeah, it's been a little while, but I mean, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, so we're really excited to be here.
Yeah, how's the tour been going so far? I mean, like, you guys are doing a couple of handful of dates here and there. It's not like a big tour this run. Is that a little bit easier on you guys, or?
Well, I like being out and just doing it. I don't like going back and forth that much, so I'm really the kind of guy that's like likes to go do the run, blah 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 blah. But I love being out on the road. I love being home. I love recording. Anytime I get a, guitar in my hand, I'm, psyched. But yeah, we have a blast out here. I mean, we are just all having so much fun. It's just ridiculous. It's just like, hanging out with your friends and playing music. It's a blast.
I think that's kind of, at this point in like all of your careers, I mean, like if it was just like a burden, I think you'd just rather sit at home. Right?
Yeah. Luckily I've never been in that situation. So
yeah.
But of course there's a lot of bands out there that it is a burden and they do sit home. So but luckily, knock on wood, it's never been like that for me.
Yeah. Which is good, because I mean I can imagine how that would play on somebody's mental health. You have to go out there on stage. You probably don't see each other when you're off the stage. You got to deal with that sort of dynamic. I don't think everybody I talk to, they say it's not fun. I'd rather sit at home than be on the road with somebody I don't like. So.
Sure, of course. And, of course we've heard the stories and all the things that happen. But, luckily, I mean, it's just music is such an enjoyable thing. And it's just such a wonderful thing to be able to play, especially with Motley Crue, to play these incredible songs that I grew up with.
Me too, yeah.
The soundtrack of my life, and getting able to play it with the guys, it's just been an absolute dream. And again, we just all have such a fun time together.
And I think at that point, it's like you kind of strive to get to a point where it's like you're in Motley Crue, right? I'm like,
Yeah, it's weird, right?
to go from, Manson and Zombie, and like the first time I ever saw you live was on the Hellbilly Deluxe 2 tour.
Yeah.
It was at the Metropolis in Montreal. It was the first time I was ever front row at a concert. And it was the first time I ever went to a concert where there was like production value to it that I could appreciate. I don't know what your first concert was.
My first concert was Iggy Pop, Santana, and the Rolling Stones, 1981.
Okay.
Yeah. I was 11, yeah.
Now, was there like stage production or anything? Was it just
huge.
amps?
It was in a stadium.
Okay.
So it was like, I was like, oh my God. I couldn't believe it. The first person I saw on stage was Iggy Pop in 1981. And I was like,
Shirt or no shirt?
No shirt, peanut butter, the whole bit. I was like, oh my God, And I was so young, I didn't know what like an opening band was. I was like, this isn't the Rolling Stones, so it was weird.
Yeah.
But please continue with your Hellbilly Deluxe 2.
I was just going to say, like, your first concert. My first concert was the Backstreet Boys.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
When I was like 5 years old in the Millennium, when like I Want It That Way and like those big hits
Yeah.
were like the thing. They were playing in the round and like the middle of the
that
arena,
must have been
and, like,
massive.
it was crazy. But I was so young that I couldn't appreciate it. For the longest time, I was like ashamed of it. Like I was like,
No,
no,
I
my
shouldn't
first
be
concert
ashamed
wasn't Backstreet Boys.
No, that's pretty cool. But
Yeah.
so every time you go to a concert, you're like, hey, why
Yeah.
aren't there as many girls as there are at I thought all concerts
Oh, there
had
was a
that
lot of
many
chicks,
girls.
man, at that Zombie show, dude. Oh wait, I was like 14, I think, and like that was like I said, like that was the first time I saw a show where like it was like rock music, but there was screens and there was like
Oh, yeah.
just like like it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen up to
It's
that point.
a great show. Like Zombie always puts on an incredible show, and there's always, because we would have a meeting before saying, okay, don't walk here, don't walk there, don't do this, because there's so much going on.
Yeah. Walk in the wrong spot, you got a ball of fire hitting you.
or a big monster you're gonna walk in front of or something.
But even to go from that, I mean, into a band like Crew, it's like you still got the production value. You've got the big produced records. You
Oh,
got the
yeah.
songs. It's like, so you've always maintained this sort of kind of level of bigness, I guess.
Yeah, I've always played for people I really loved, I really, really have a fondness for everybody I've played for. So,
Yeah.
Especially Motley Crue. I've loved them just like everybody has, most of their life, So it is so much fun to like when they're like, talking about a set list or something like that. And, they say, oh, maybe we'll try this or try that or try this. And it's like, I know all those songs, know?
Yeah.
So,
and it must be easier going in as a fan.
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
like, oh, you should do this. Maybe let's try that out.
of course. Yeah. Like, it's funny because I know all those songs. So it's wonderful.
Yeah.
It really is, it's been a absolute pleasure.
I mean, doing those cool kind of small club shows, I mean, was that a little bit of a statement on the band's part, especially with all this, like, all the bullshit in the press about tracks and playback and all that? I mean, was that a statement on the band's part to say, listen, we can fucking play these songs. Don't worry about bullshit laptops. We these are our songs that we can play them.
We, it wasn't the statement. We were like, let's go. I actually think it was Vince's idea or something like that. But I'm not sure. But we were like, oh, let's go play a club. Because we rehearse and we practice and we, are sounding great. And when you see it in a club,
Yeah.
there's no hiding. You're feeling that air from those amps.
Nothing's getting, nothing's getting hidden behind cannonball snare drum in the mixer. Like
Nothing. It is a rock and roll band, and it is. I mean, I think those because I watch it, online and stuff, and it sounds killer. I'm very proud. It's just I think it sounds incredible. I love playing those club shows. It's like my favorite thing to do because you're so close. You're like squeezed in with everybody,
It's like
you
you're
know.
at capacity. People are shoulder to shoulder. It's an old school. Imagine seeing that Van Halen at Cafe Wash show, back in 2012 or whatever it was. It's like
No, I know. And I would go to Van Halen rehearsals, because I've known the guys for a long time, and I would go to their rehearsal, and they were in a small rehearsal room. And
would Al have like a giant kit or like a small little kit?
No, he had the big kit.
Okay.
And this was a small room. It wasn't like one of the massive stage, you know,
Like a sound stage. It was like a room.
it was like a small room, and they were in there and just playing, and I was just blown away. It was unbelievable.
Like Ed had like the full like wet, dry, wet setup, like the whole thing. And
Yeah.
was it loud?
It was so loud, and it was so great, and it just, I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
I just.
What year was that?
It was right before. It was right when they were like getting together again. I'm really bad with years.
With Dave or Sammy?
Yeah, with Dave.
Dave, okay. So it was like 2006.
Because Dave was like, "Hey, come on down," and we went down there together and stuff.
Was this after you worked with Dave?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And because I worked with Dave like 1,000 years ago, but we've always been close. And
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh, come down to rehearsal," and it was rad. I got on Eddie's stuff and
How was
played a
that?
little bit. Oh, we're crazy.
Which
That's-
guitar was it? Was it a Wolfgang? Was it the Frankenstein?
It was the Wolfgang. Yeah,
Nice.
it's unbelievable.
Prototype Wolfgang, pre-production Fender, or was this a
don't know.
PV?
I don't know. I don't remember.
See,
but
now I'm geeking out.
It was. I know. It was rad though. And then, you know, I did the same thing for Kiss. I would go down to rehearsal, small room, and I remember I was just sitting there. I was the only one in there, and then
Yeah.
the guys, and then
Isn't
they
that
were
weird though? Is that like an imposter syndrome? Like, holy shit, I'm sitting here like Ace's guitar rig is right there. Like,
Yeah, and it was the four, you know, original guys, and
Yeah.
they were working out the harmonies for Black Diamond, the intro, you know. So it was really cool, really special. So back
Wow.
to that, I love those
The whole, like,
intimate.
"Ooh,"
Yeah. I love those intimate shows, you know, because you feel the air from the amps and all that stuff,
Yeah.
you know. I'm a massive Kiss collector, as a lot of people know, but I have the reel-to-reel. Now, these were, you know, how they did it back in the day. It was a reel-to-reel tape, and it was the orchestra of Beth.
Yeah,
So I have that, and that's what they would run.
the OG one.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so that's what they would run. But, you know, you can't have a huge orchestra on stage or something like that. It would be, you know, it would break the bank, you know. But
That's it. Talking about that, how are you? And we'll talk about the tour and everything that's coming up, you know, in the fall time. Make sure you get your tickets. We're talking to John 5. Mick had one of the greatest guitar sounds of the 80s with the H3000, you know, the harmonizer, just like that widespread wet, dry, wet sound. Are you trying to replicate that at all live, or are you just using like a half stack? And like, are you trying to keep it clean, or what's your approach to the guitar tone?
my guitar tone, I just keep it very, very, very simple. I have a couple pedals. I don't have any rack gear. I just have
At all?
No. I have
Not even like a fractal, or it's
nothing. It's all heads.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all heads, cabinets, pedals, very simple. And I play the songs. I have such a respect for these songs and such a respect for Mick. I'm playing them as they were recorded.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing everything that was recorded live because to me, those songs are so important to me. Mick's parts are very important to me and important to everybody else out there, you know, that are such fans. And I want to pay respect to that. So I'm playing exactly how they were played on the record. And, you know, because I went to go see, I forget who it was when I was a kid. I went to go see, I forget who it was. But I would see AC/DC, and they played it exactly. I was like, wow, this
Right?
sounds amazing.
Yeah.
This sounds amazing. But then you would go see other bands, and they didn't play it like the record. And
Which annoys me.
yeah, because I miss certain things or I miss certain,
Yeah.
you know, and I always said to myself, I want to play just like the record, you know, and that's me as a
But
little
then
kid.
There's people, you know, like our good buddy Eddie Trunk, who'll go on the air and say, if I wanted to hear the record, I'd sit at home, put the CD on. I want to go hear this live, you know,
Right.
so raw it bleeds rock and roll.
Yeah,
But as a musician, I want to hear him play what he played on the record live.
Well, it's just like if you go to, it's like if you have sheet music and you have sheet music and you're like, you know, Mozart, I know what he's doing. I'm going to add my own thing. No, you play how it was written. that's what I think. I always thought you play how it was written. If they wanted it a different way, they would have played it a different way.
Right. Well, I mean, let me ask you. You look at Joe Satriani, who's going on tour with Sammy right now. They're doing all the Van Halen stuff. He got shit on online for taking Eddie's parts and making it his own. Should he be playing it the way it was written? Because I think what you're doing with mixed stuff is exactly what you should do.
I haven't seen the show or I haven't seen anything, but Joe is, of course, one of the greats,
Yes.
and I am so excited. I haven't seen anything yet, and I am so excited to go see this show.
Me too.
I cannot wait, and I'm so happy that they are celebrating this catalog. Everything. I heard an interview with Mike Anthony, and I think they're going to do some Dave stuff. I think Mike's going to sing some Dave stuff. They're going to do the 5150. I know they're going to do that song. They're going to do a bunch of great Hagar, Van Halen, and I'm excited, man. And it's just a celebration.
Did they ever come to you and try and get you in on that tour? Or?
No, I was always busy, so
Sammy's like, here's a dump truck full of cash. Come play Eddie.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's so wonderful. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to go see that.
No, especially as a Van Halen. You don't hear these songs anymore. And you're never going to hear them again probably after this, unless Sammy does a couple of shows here and there. But as fans, our favorite bands are slowly going away.
Yeah, it's very it's very strange because all these bands, they're slowly going away, and it's
Kiss?
It's totally scary to me.
Yeah.
Because we have good rock and roll, but it's we need more good rock and roll.
Yeah.
We need more bands to come out there. We need more bands to say, look at me and stuff, because I'm looking. I can't wait to see new
need rock
rock and
stars
roll.
again, right?
We need it because they're going away. And what's funny is I was thinking about this the other day. Can you name, I don't know, let's say 5 bands, let's say starting from the 80s, who have original members? Because from the 70s, it's like impossible.
Yeah. I mean, look, I just saw Foreigner like 2 weeks ago, and Nick's not even there anymore. So
Right. But let's say from the 80s, can you name 5?
Well, Steve Clark's dead. So aside from Vivian, I mean, Def Leppard's still the Pyromania lineup, essentially. I mean, yeah. No, it's not. No, not even. No, not at all. What am I saying? Vivian's, he wasn't even on Adrenalize. Geez, not even Rat. Those Dawkin. None of them. You can't.
Okay, let's go 90s now. Give me 5 bands from the 90s that have original. No?
No,
No?
The brothers are still there, but the drummer and no. You know what? Even Shania Twain doesn't have her original band still, so I'm trying to think. I can't. Extreme? No, drummer's gone.
Drummer's gone.
Drummer's gone. Even Mr. Big, Pat passed away. I can't actually think of one. Not even Aerosmith. Joey's gone.
Yeah.
Joey's out.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it's weird. Cheap Trick. Dax is on drums.
That's right. It's hard,
Yeah.
I think, I'm going to say...
Can you name any? Do you know any?
U2.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. You know what's weird? When you said rock, I didn't even think of U2 as rock.
But you said Shania Twain.
Wow. Mutt Lang.
I love Shania Twain, by the way.
Me too. My buddy Brent's her music director. He's a great guy.
Poison.
Yes. Okay. Joan Jett. Does that count?
No.
Well, she was in a band. Well,
Isn't that
solo.
wild? It's tough.
Alice Cooper. He's always been a solo artist, technically.
No. Yeah, weird.
Yeah.
Anyways, so there you go.
No, but it's true, though, because, dude, our bands are slowly going away.
Yeah.
So
just imagine, though, if a member left or passed away or something, God forbid, and then that band couldn't continue. There'd be nobody.
Yeah.
Isn't
That's
that
true.
wild? to think about.
And it's funny when you see fans online kind of bitching and complaining about, oh, well, he's not there anymore. That's not Kiss or this or that. But it's like, at this point in my life, as somebody that just turned 30 and who's loved this music for the last 15 years, 20 years, everybody got to experience that early on in their life, the come up. But now when Motley retired, I was like, well, shit, I just got into this 6 years ago and now they're done. But, so with all these bands, I think everybody should take the opportunity to see them in any iteration while they can.
I mean, I'm speaking as a fan. I would love to see, AC/DC one more time, or I would love to see.
I just saw the Stones last weekend.
Yeah, I mean, incredible. Just to take the Rolling Stones. What if, when Brian died, what if the Stones were like, that's it, no more Rolling Stones? We wouldn't have. We'd have a few records. Mm-hmm. Unbelievable, huh?
Yeah.
So we
wouldn't have gotten everything else that came after that.
I know. And name any band.
Look at Queen going on with Adam Lambert.
Yeah.
The fact you can hear these songs still.
And Adam Lambert is amazing.
Yeah.
Incredible. You want to hear these songs. Music is about having a great time and forgetting about life for a while, and enjoying the music. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to enjoy the music.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk about the solo tour you're going to be going on later this year. Got tons of dates. It's a pretty extensive tour, actually.
Actually, yeah. It's funny. I love touring. I love going out and playing.
Music is my life.
It's easy. It's easy for me. I could play. If I could, I would play every day. But it's hard on the road crew. It's not me. If I had the choice, I'd play every day.
Yeah.
And it's so weird. It's something I love so much. And I think that is, I'm getting weird right now, but I really think that's the meaning of life, is doing something that you love, because I love it so much that I would love to do it every day. Yeah. And I would have no problem. I don't get tired. I don't ever go, I've never done that, going out to a show. And I love playing these venues. And I'm telling my agent, keep it small, keep it small, keep it intimate. And so we can have, I can be right up close with the people. I love that stuff.
It's funny. I saw the Stones last weekend. I was just saying, and it's like there was such a. I love stadium shows. If the stadium has got an open roof, it sounds better than a closed one. But I just feel like there was such a disconnect. Like, you're so far from the artist. Unless you're sitting in those first, 20-some rows on the floor, you're sitting in the upper bowl all the way at the back of the stadium after the delay towers. It's like, it's like you're not even there.
I know, and I'll tell you, being on stage and the first row is so far, it's hard to just throw a pick to somebody, You got to be
the barricade's so far.
Yeah, it's really far. So you could fit like a whole nother stage in there. But
yeah,
of course, I love playing the massive places, and I'm very happy and very fortunate. But, like I said before, if I have a guitar in my hand, I'm psyched. It's a great day.
Yeah. So these smaller shows, does that allow you to bring in some production? Does it are you allowed to, is it your fully realized show that you get to do? Or?
Yeah. I squeeze it all in there. And it's fun, because I interact with the crowd, and because for some reason I can, I don't remember years that well, but I can remember songs like there's no problem. And I'll say to the crowd, what do you guys want to hear? And they'll just shout out stuff, and I'll play it.
American Witch.
Yeah, I'll play it.
Hang 'em high.
I'll play it, And it's funny, just those two songs, I could totally just play no problem.
Yeah. Well, the first time I saw you guys in New York City, you played the Hammerstein Ballroom, and I was going to the meet and greet with Rob, and you guys were sound checking. Through the doors, I heard you all, it was dead silent. All of a sudden, you just heard you kick into the riff of Hang 'em High. I was like, Van Halen, what?
Yeah.
What?
God, I love it.
Yeah. Talking about that, just really quick, on Que Pasa with Dave Mustaine, there's two things I love about that song on the last record. The fact that it's got kind of like that Dr. Feelgoody kind of groovy riff, but then you do the, Girl Gone Bad, almost kind of part.
Yeah.
Was that a bit of a Van Halen homage
Of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It all comes from someplace.
Yeah.
You know? Oasis, I think it's called Fucking in the Bushes or something like that. That, came from that, came from a little Girl Gone Bad, So it all comes from places, you know? Everybody's inspired. It doesn't matter if it's, if you're in the Beatles or if you're Beethoven, everybody's inspired by someone. And that's what's cool about it.
And it's good to wear your influences on your sleeve because you're giving back and showing respect, right?
Of
Guys that
course,
gave you-
I'm very proud of, I love my heroes, and I pay respect to them as much as I can, and as much as they have given me, hopefully I inspire some people on the way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, fuck the amount of kids that are picking up guitars these days. I mean,
Yeah.
Just real quick, I know we're going to run out of time soon, but talking about the John 5 signature tellies and stuff that's coming, do we have anything new coming out at some point, or like?
We do. The Ghost was such a success. They sold out in 2 hours, and I was so happy. And I'm blown away when people bring them to the meet and greet, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe you got one. And
How'd you get that through security?
yeah, right. But they were so hard to make because the necks were all white, and to get the fret inside there without the paint cracking, that it was really, really difficult for Fender. But there's going to be a new guitar called the Phantom coming out, and it's all black. It's going to be super rad. So I'm super excited for
Is it
that.
like a stealth black, or is it like a matte?
Yeah, no, it's like a shiny black. 'Cause they were like, you want to do matte? And I was like, I kind of like that, that shine a little bit. So it's called the Phantom. It's going to be all black, and I'm super excited for it. I haven't, gotten to hold one yet, but it's coming.
Well, we're excited about anything guitars these days.
Yeah,
you know?
right?
We need to bring guitar back.
Yeah.
It was great chatting with you. Best of luck with the rest of the tour, and
Thank you.
hopefully catch you in Montreal when you come back up here in the Great White North.
Thank you.
An all new episode of The Jeremy White Show.
Available wherever you stream.